The stars had been quiet for 3,000 years. In the vast emptiness of space, peace reigned supreme across the galaxy. Wars were stories told to children. Tales of a primitive past when species fought with crude weapons and violent thoughts. Commander. Timon stood on the bridge of his patrol ship, watching the gentle blue glow of distant suns through the viewing window. His uniform was pristine white, decorated with symbols of harmony and unity. The Velthian fleet had not fired a weapon in anger for over 2 centuries. Their ships were beautiful things, sleek and elegant, designed more for show than battle. Another quiet day, Commander, said Officer Sora as she approached. Her voice carried the calm tone that all diplomatic officers learned in their training. Conflict resolution through words, not weapons. This was the way of the civilized galaxy. Tay-Min nodded, his hands clasped behind his back. As it should be. The Galactic Council has brought us true peace. No more senseless violence, no more destruction. The bridge was a marvel of advanced technology. Soft lights pulsed in rhythm with the ship's systems. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, their movements smooth and unhurried. Everything about their civilization spoke of refinement and control. Science. Specialist Wu Jin looked up from his scanning station. Commander, I am detecting something unusual. Timon turned toward him. Unusual how? Radio signals, sir. Very primitive ones. They appear to be coming from an uncharted system in the outer rim. Sara laughed softly. Radio signals? Who still uses such ancient technology? Wu Jin frowned at his instruments. The signals are strange, Commander. They speak of something called Earth, and they mention wars, many wars. The transmissions talk about weapons and battles and something they call military strategy. The bridge fell silent. The crew exchanged glances. Wars? Military strategy? These were concepts from the dark ages of galactic history. Timon walked over to the scanning station. Are you certain about this, Wu Jin? Yes, sir. The signals are definitely artificial. Someone is broadcasting them. But, Commander, there is something else. These signals suggest the species has advanced technology. They speak of space travel and exploration. Sora shook her head. Impossible. No species can develop faster than light. Travel while still being primitive enough to wage wars. The Council's research proves this. Violence holds back technological advancement. Timon stared at the data on the screen. The signals were weak but constant. Whoever was sending them was far away, but they were definitely there. Record everything, he ordered. We'll report this to the Council when we return to base. The Velthian patrol ship continued its peaceful journey through the stars. Around them, the galaxy hummed with quiet activity. Trade ships moved between systems, carrying goods and ideas. Diplomatic vessels traveled from world to world, solving small disputes with careful words and gentle persuasion. On the planet Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council sat in their great hall. 12 species were represented, each one a master of their chosen field. The Velthians controlled trade routes. The Nexari governed technology development. Zephyrians kept the peace with their meditation and wisdom council leader Hay-1. Reviewed the daily reports from across the galaxy. Trade was flowing smoothly. No conflicts had arisen in the past month. Citizen satisfaction ratings were at an all-time high. Another perfect day, she said to her assistant. The galaxy has truly found its path to eternal peace. Her assistant, a young Zephyrian named Kyung Ho, nodded respectfully. The old ways of violence seem like a distant nightmare now. Leader, we have evolved beyond such primitive behavior. A1 smiled. Indeed. War is obsolete. The galaxy has learned that cooperation brings far greater rewards than conflict. Light years away, in the uncharted system that Wu Jin had detected, a small blue planet orbited a yellow star. The planet was beautiful, with swirling white clouds and vast oceans, but it was also scarred. Dark patches marked where great cities had once stood. The northern ice cap bore strange patterns, remnants of some ancient catastrophe. On this world, in a vast complex of metal and concrete, beings moved with purpose. They were tall and lean, with pale skin and dark hair. Their eyes held a sharpness that the galaxy had not seen in millennia. Admiral Jawan stood in the command center of Earth's primary defense station. Around him, screens showed the status of humanity's military forces. Ships hung in orbit, their hulls dark and angular. These were not the elegant vessels of the galactic civilizations. These were weapons, pure and simple. "Sir, the long-range probe has returned with interesting data," reported Captain Dahi as she entered the command center. Her uniform was practical, designed for function rather than beauty. Every human military officer had scars, marks of a species that had learned hard lessons. "What did you find?" Jawan asked. "Signals, sir. Lots of them. There's a whole galaxy out there, full of intelligent life. They seem to be broadcasting on open channels, as if they have no fear of being overheard." Jawan raised an eyebrow. "No encryption? No security protocols?" "None, sir. Their communications are completely open. They talk about trade agreements and cultural exchanges. No mention of military preparations or defense strategies." The Admiral walked to the main display screen. It showed a map of the local galaxy with thousands of star systems marked in different colors. Each color represented a different species, all living in apparent harmony. "Fascinating," he said quietly. "They have achieved something we never could. True peace?" Captain Dahi nodded. "Should we attempt contact, sir?" Jawan considered this carefully. Humanity had learned to be cautious. Their history was written in blood and fire. Every advancement had come at a terrible cost. But perhaps, just perhaps, they could learn from these peaceful beings. "Prepare the new soul for a diplomatic mission," he ordered. "We will make contact. But Captain, keep the weapon systems ready. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst." "Understood, sir." As the orders went out, Earth began to prepare for its first contact with galactic civilization. Engineers worked on translation systems. Diplomats studied what little they knew of alien cultures. Scientists prepared instruments to record everything, but in the quiet corners of the military complex, other preparations were being made. Weapons were checked and rechecked. Battle plans were reviewed. Humanity had learned that peace was precious, but it could only be maintained through strength. The galaxy was about to meet a species that had mastered the art of war, and nothing would ever be the same again. In the darkness between the stars, the new soul began its journey toward first contact. Behind it, Earth's orbital shipyards worked around the clock, building vessels that the galaxy had never imagined possible. The quiet before the storm was about to end. The new soul dropped out of hyperspace with a flash of blue light. Captain Dahi gripped her command chair as the ship's systems adjusted to normal space. Round her, the bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency. Every person aboard knew they were making history. "Position confirmed, Captain," reported Navigation Officer Hyan Wu. "We are at the edge of what appears to be Velthian space." Dahi nodded. "Begin broadcasting the universal greeting, all frequencies. Let them know we come in peace." The communications officer, Minsu, activated the transmission system. "Message broadcasting now, Captain. Standard diplomatic protocols." But something was wrong. The translation matrix that Earth scientists had built was struggling with the alien languages. Static filled the communication channels. Words came through, broken and confused. Light years away, Commander Taman was conducting his routine patrol when his ship's sensors detected the anomaly. A massive energy signature had appeared on the edge of their territory. "Unknown vessel detected," announced sensor operator Biorum. "Configuration unknown. Size approximately 800 meters. It appeared without warning." Taman frowned. No ship in the galaxy could move without being tracked by the sensor network. "Hail them immediately." Officer Sora tried to establish contact. "I am receiving a transmission, Commander. But the language is completely unknown. The universal translator cannot process it." On the new Sol, Captain Dahi grew concerned as her attempts at communication failed. "Are they responding, Minsu?" "Yes, Captain, but something is wrong with the translation system. I am getting fragments. Something about identification and territorial space." The situation deteriorated rapidly. On the Velthian ship, The broken transmissions from the new Sol sounded like threats. Words about weapons and military protocols came through the damaged translation matrix. Commander Sora said with growing alarm, "They are mentioning military formations and defensive positions. This could be a hostile contact." Taman felt a chill run down his spine. Hostile contact. The words had not been spoken in the galaxy for centuries. Alert Admiral Kusung immediately. Request backup. Within minutes, 3 Velthian cruisers arrived to support Taman's patrol ship. Admiral Kusung commanded the small fleet from his flagship, the Harmony's Light. The admiral was an old warrior from the last days of galactic conflict. One of the few beings alive who remembered real war. Unknown vessel, Admiral Kusung broadcast, "You have entered Velthian space without permission. Identify yourself immediately or face the consequences." Captain Dahi received the transmission through her faulty translator. The words came through as a demand for surrender and threats of destruction. Her military training kicked in immediately. "They are threatening us," she told her crew. "Shields up. Weapons to stand by." "The captain," said Tactical Officer Sujin. "Their ships are moving into attack formation?" Dahi watched the tactical display. 4 alien vessels were surrounding the new Sol. Their weapons were powering up. Everything about the situation screamed ambush. Admiral Kusung saw the human ship's defensive systems activate. Energy shields blazed to life around the strange vessel. Weapon ports opened along its hull. To his experienced eye, this looked like preparation for battle. "They are preparing to attack," he told his bridge crew. "All ships, prepare for defensive action."
Ow.
The misunderstanding spiraled out of control. Both sides saw aggressive actions, where none were intended. Both sides prepared for a fight that neither wanted. "Warning shots," Admiral Kusung ordered. "Fire across their bow. Show them we are serious." The Velthian ships opened fire with their elegant energy weapons. Beams of coherent light lanced across space, passing just in front of the new Sol. The weapons were designed to intimidate, not destroy. Beautiful displays of power meant to end conflicts without bloodshed. But the new Sol's combat systems did not understand the concept of warning shots. When enemy weapons fired, the ship's artificial intelligence responded instantly. "Incoming fire," announced Tactical Officer Sujin. "Multiple hostiles engaging. Defensive systems activated." Captain Dahi had milliseconds to decide. Her ship was outnumbered 4-1. The enemy had fired first. Everything in her training told her to fight back immediately. "Return fire," she ordered. "All weapons, engage hostile targets." The new Sol's weapons were nothing like the galaxy had ever seen. Where the Velthians used elegant energy beams, humans used kinetic rounds moving at significant fractions of light speed. Where alien weapons were designed to disable, human weapons were built to destroy. The first salvo from the new Sol struck Admiral Kusung's flagship. The kinetic rounds punched through the energy shields as if they were not there. They tore through the elegant hull plating and exploded deep inside the ship. "Impossible." Admiral Kusung gasped as his ship shuddered under the impact. "Their weapons penetrated our shields." On his sensors, damage reports flooded in. The Harmony's Light was crippled. Half his crew was dead or injured. His ship, designed for 3 millennia of peaceful operation, was breaking apart. The other Velthian vessels tried to respond, but they were completely outmatched. The new Sol's weapons tracked and engaged all targets simultaneously. Each shot was precise and devastating. "Commander." Taman watched in horror as the cruiser Peaceful Dawn simply vanished in a ball of fire. The ship's elegant curves were reduced to scattered debris in seconds. "Retreat," he broadcast frantically. "All ships retreat immediately." But it was too late for 2 of the 4 Velthian vessels. The new Sol's targeting systems locked onto the remaining cruisers and fired again. The ship's silent Harmony broke in half, its crew compartments venting atmosphere into space. Only Taman's ship and the crippled flagship remained. Captain Dahi watched the tactical display with growing horror. Her defensive systems had just destroyed 3 alien ships in 30 seconds. This was supposed to be a peaceful first contact. "Cease fire," she ordered. All weapons, cease fire immediately. Engineer Hoyanwu worked frantically at his station. Captain, I think I can fix the translation matrix. Give me 2 minutes. Work faster, Dahi replied. We need to talk to them now. Admiral Kusung floated in the wreckage of his command bridge, blood running from a gash on his forehead. Around him, his crew struggled to keep the ship functional. 3 ships destroyed, hundreds of beings dead. This unknown species had just committed the worst act of violence the galaxy had seen in 1,000 years. Send a message to the Council, he told his communications officer. Emergency alert. We have encountered a hostile species. They possess weapons far beyond anything we have seen. We need immediate military response. The message raced across the galaxy at faster than light speeds. Within hours, every major government would know that the age of peace had ended. On the new Sol, Heian-Wu finally restored the translation matrix. Captain Dahi immediately opened communications. This is Captain Dahi of the Earth vessel New. Sol, we are sorry for the misunderstanding. Please respond. The damage was done. The surviving Velthian ships had already jumped to hyperspace, carrying news of humanity's terrible power back to their leaders. Captain Dahi stared at the debris field that had been 3 alien ships. Her mission of peaceful contact had become a massacre. And somewhere in the darkness of space, an entire galaxy was about to learn that humanity had arrived. Set course for Earth, she ordered quietly. Maximum speed. The new Sol jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind the wreckage of first contact and the birth of galactic fear. The emergency session of the Galactic Council began at dawn on Nexus Prime. Council leader Hei-1 stood before the Great Assembly Hall, her face grave with the weight of terrible news. Representatives from 12 species filled the chamber, their voices rising in shocked whispers. Order, Hei-1 called out, her voice echoing through the vast space. We must have order. Admiral Kusung limped to the center of the hall, his arm in a medical support device. Bandages covered half his face where debris had struck him during the battle. Behind him walked Commander Tommen, his uniform still stained with the blood of his fallen crew members. Tell them what you witnessed, Hei-1 said quietly. Admiral Kusung cleared his throat. Honored council members, we have encountered a species unlike any in our records. They call themselves humans, and they come from a world called Earth. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Representative Janae of the Nexori leaned forward. What makes them so different, Admiral? Their weapons, Kusung replied, his voice shaking slightly. In 30 seconds, they destroyed 3 of our cruisers. Our shields were useless. Our armor meant nothing.
How?
They fight like the ancient warriors of the old stories. Commander Taman stepped forward. Council members, I have studied the battle recordings. These humans did not hesitate. They did not try to disable our ships. They aimed to kill from the very first shot. The hall fell silent. The concept of killing in battle was so foreign that many representatives struggled to understand it. For 3,000 years, galactic conflicts had been resolved with minimal casualties. Weapons were designed to disable, not destroy. General Binwu of the Nexari military stood up. He was the galaxy's most experienced military commander, though. His experience was limited to peacekeeping operations and ceremonial duties. How many ships did they bring to this battle? One Admiral Kusung answered. The silence in the hall became absolute. 1 ship had defeated 4 Velthian cruisers. In half a minute, Representative Soyoung of the Zephyrians shook her head in disbelief. Impossible. No single vessel could possess such power. Commander Taman activated a holographic display showing the battle. The representatives watched in stunned silence as the elegant Velthian ships were torn apart by weapons they had never imagined possible. We must assume they have more ships like this, General Binwu said grimly. If one vessel can do this much damage, a fleet of them could destroy entire star systems. Council leader Hei-1 raised her hand for silence. The question before us is simple. We attempt peaceful contact again, or do we prepare for war? Representative Minho of the Trade Guild spoke up. Surely we can negotiate. Every species can be reasoned with. We must try again. They fired without warning. Admiral Kusung said firmly. They showed no mercy to our crews. These beings are not like us. They are predators. The debate continued for hours, but the conclusion was inevitable. The galaxy had encountered its first truly hostile species in millennia. The vote was unanimous. Humans are hereby classified as a Category 5 hostile species, Council Leader Hay-1 announced. General Binwu, you will assemble the largest military force in galactic history. We must be prepared for the worst. General Binwu nodded grimly. I will need ships from every member species. This threat is beyond what any single military can handle. Across the galaxy, the call went out. For the first time in 3,000 years, the great shipyards came alive with military production. The Veilthians contributed their fastest vessels. The Nexari provided their most advanced technology. The Zephyrians offered their wisdom and military strategy. Within weeks, 50,000 ships gathered at the staging area near the galactic core. The fleet stretched across space like a metal constellation, presenting the combined might of 12 civilizations. General Binwu stood on the bridge of his flagship, Unity of Peace, surveying the greatest armada ever assembled. Ships of every design floated in perfect formation. Sleek Velthian cruisers moved alongside massive Nixari battleships. Zephyrian meditation vessels provided communications and coordination. Sir, reported his aide, Captain Yunji, all fleet commanders are ready for the final briefing. The holographic conference began with representatives from every major ship. Admirals and generals from across the galaxy appeared as shimmering blue figures around the command table. Our mission is clear, General Binwu announced. We will proceed to this Earth system and demand the surrender of the hostile species. If they refuse, we will demonstrate the overwhelming power of galactic unity. Admiral Yuna of the Nexari fleet raised a concern. General, their weapons are clearly superior to ours. Should we not be more cautious? Numbers will overcome their technological advantage, Binwu replied confidently. They may have destroyed 4 ships, but we have 50,000. No species can stand against such overwhelming force. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Jae-hoon reviewed the reports from Captain Dahi's mission. The new Sol had returned with detailed sensor data about the alien fleet movements. Intelligence reports showed massive military buildup across the galaxy. President Myung entered the command center, her face serious. Admiral, our diplomatic mission has failed. The aliens are preparing for war. Yes, Madame President, Jawan replied. Our analysts estimate they are assembling the largest fleet in their history, perhaps 50,000 ships or more. President Myung studied the tactical displays. What do you recommend? Admiral Jae-won walked to the main screen showing Earth's orbital defenses. Madame President, we have 2 choices. We can attempt to negotiate from a position of weakness, or we can show them exactly what humanity is capable of. You want to fight 50,000 ships? I want to send them a message they will never forget, Jawan said quietly. 1 ship, Madam President. 1 ship will be enough. President Myung considered this carefully. Earth's history was filled with moments when bold action had prevented greater conflicts. Sometimes a show of strength was the path to peace. Which ship? She asked. The Inchin's Fury, Admiral Jawan answered immediately. Captain Chanho, commanding. It is our most advanced battleship. The Inchin's Fury was a masterpiece of human military engineering. Unlike the elegant alien vessels, it was built for one purpose: destroying enemy ships. Every line of its angular hull spoke of brutal efficiency. Its weapon systems could engage hundreds of targets simultaneously. Its armor could withstand direct hits from nuclear weapons, Captain. Chanho received his orders in person from Admiral Jawan. Captain, you will take the Inchin's Fury to meet the alien fleet. You will demonstrate humanity's resolve. Understood. Sir, Captain Shenho replied. What are the rules of engagement? Defend yourself, Captain. Show them what happens when they threaten Earth. But remember, we want to end this war before it truly begins. Tactical Officer the Gin and Weapons Specialist Dongmin joined Captain Chanho on the bridge as the Inchin's Fury prepared for departure. The crew was small, by galactic standards, only 300 souls. But each person aboard was a veteran of humanity's brutal history. Sir, the Gin reported, Long-range sensors show the alien fleet is moving toward the outer rim. They will reach our border in 72 hours? Then we meet them halfway, Captain Chanho decided. Set course for the intercept point. Maximum speed. The Ancient's Fury jumped to hyperspace, beginning its journey toward the greatest space battle in galactic history. Behind it, Earth's orbital shipyards worked frantically to prepare more vessels. But Admiral Jaehoon was confident that one ship would be enough. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity did not need overwhelming numbers to win. They needed only the will to fight, and weapons designed by a species that had turned warfare into an art form. In the darkness between stars, 50,000 alien ships moved toward their destiny. Behind them came one human battleship, carrying the hopes and fears of an entire species. The greatest test of human military might was about to begin. The Ancient's Fury dropped out of hyperspace in the middle of the alien fleet with a brilliant flash of white light. For a moment that seemed to last forever, both sides simply stared at each other in complete silence. Captain Chanho stood on his bridge looking at the tactical display that showed 50,000 enemy ships surrounding his single vessel. The alien fleet stretched out in all directions like a metal ocean. Ships of every size and design floated in perfect formations that spoke of centuries of peaceful coordination. "Well," said Tactical Officer Thajin quietly, "they certainly brought everyone to the party." Weapons Specialist Dongmin checked his targeting systems. "Sir, I count 47,632 active vessels, multiple ship classes. All weapons are powered but not locked onto us yet." Captain Chanho nodded calmly. "They are probably as surprised as we are. Curious about each other." On the bridge of the Unity of Peace, General Binwu stared at his sensors in complete disbelief. The humans had sent one ship, one single vessel to face the greatest military force in galactic history. "Sir," reported Captain Yunji, her voice shaking slightly, "confirms single hostile vessel. Configuration unknown. Size approximately 1 kilometer in length." General Binwu studied the human ship through his viewing screen. It was nothing like the elegant vessels of the galaxy. The Ancient's Fury was a dark, angular beast of metal and weapons. Every line of its hull spoke of violence and death, where galactic ships were works of art. This was a tool of war. "They mock us," said Admiral Yoon over the communications channel. "One ship against 50,000? They think we are cowards who will flee at the first sign of their weapons." But Commander Taemin, who had survived the first encounter with humanity, felt ice in his veins. "General, I have seen what their weapons can do. You should be very careful." General Binwu activated the fleet communications system. "All ships, battle stations, surround the hostile vessel. We will show them the power of galactic unity." Massive alien fleet began to move. Thousands of ships shifted position, creating perfect attack formations. The movements were beautiful and precise. Like a dance performed by metal dancers among the stars, Captain Chanho watched the alien formations. With professional interest, "They move well together," he observed. "It's excellent coordination. But those formations are designed for ceremony, not combat." "Sir," the Jin reported, "incoming transmission from the alien fleet. Put it through." General Binwu's image appeared. On the main screen, alien leader wore elaborate ceremonial armor that gleamed with golden decorations. His expression was stern, but not entirely unfriendly. "Human vessel. I am General Binwu of the Galactic Defense Force. You are outnumbered. 50,000 to 1. Surrender immediately, and your crew will be treated with dignity." Captain Chanho stood slowly. His uniform was plain gray, marked only with simple rank insignia. No decorations or ceremonial elements, pure function. "General Binwu, I am Captain Chanho of the Earth Defense Force. I appreciate the offer, but I must decline." General Binwu frowned. "Captain, surely you understand mathematics? You cannot possibly win this engagement." Captain Chanho smiled slightly. "General, this is your only warning. Order your fleet to withdraw immediately. We have no desire for unnecessary bloodshed." The alien bridge crews listening to the transmission fell silent. The human captain was warning them. One ship was threatening 50,000. Admiral Yuna's voice crackled over the communications channel. General, they insult us with their arrogance. We should end this immediately. General Binwu felt anger rising in his chest. These humans had destroyed Velthian ships without mercy. Now they dared to threaten the combined might of the galaxy. Captain Chanho, you have 10 seconds to surrender. After that, we will demonstrate the consequences of defying galactic authority. Captain Chanho turned to his crew. All stations prepare for combat operations. Rules of engagement are defensive action only. We disable their command ships and create escape routes for survivors. Understood, sir, Dongmin replied, his hands dancing over the weapons controls. All systems ready. The 10 seconds passed. In silence. Then General Binwu gave the order that would change galactic history forever. All ships, open fire. Destroy the human vessel. 50,000 ships opened fire simultaneously. The space around the Ancient's Fury lit up like a newborn star as energy beams converged on the human battleship. The alien weapons were beautiful, even in their fury, creating patterns of light that could be seen from distant star systems. But when the light faded, the Ancient's Fury remained untouched. Captain Chanho checked his damage reports. Minor shield fluctuations, all integrity at 100%. The alien fleet stared in shock. Their combined firepower had done absolutely nothing to the human ship. Impossible, General Binwu whispered. Every ship in the fleet hit the target. Captain Chanho opened communications again. General, you have made your choice. Now, I make mine. The Ancient's Fury began to move. Unlike the graceful motions of the alien ships, it moved like a predator. Fast, direct, and deadly. Target the command ships first, Captain Chanho ordered. Minimum power. You want to disable, not vaporize. Sir Dongmin replied. Minimum power settings engaged. The human battleship opened fire. The Ancient's Fury did not use elegant energy beams or ceremonial displays of force. Its weapons were kinetic cannons that fired solid projectiles at incredible speeds. Each shot was precisely calculated to disable rather than destroy. The first salvo struck 12 alien command ships simultaneously. The kinetic rounds punched through their shields and hulls like they were made of paper. Command bridges exploded. Power systems failed. Communication arrays went dark. Within 30 seconds, the alien fleet had lost its primary leadership. Impossible, Admiral Yuna gasped as her ship shuddered under multiple impacts. Her bridge was filled with smoke and sparks. Half her crew was unconscious. Their weapons penetrate everything. The Ancient's Fury continued its deadly work. It moved through the alien formations like a shark through a school of fish. Every shot was perfect. Every target was precisely chosen. General Binwu watched in horror as his magnificent fleet was systematically dismantled. The human ship was not just defeating them, it was teaching them a lesson in the art of war. Sir, Captain Yungji reported. Through the chaos on his bridge, we have lost contact with over 15,000 ships. Most are disabled, some are completely destroyed. The battle was not even 5 minutes old. Captain Chanho studied his tactical display. The alien fleet was breaking apart. Ships were fleeing in all directions. Others were surrendering by powering down their weapons. The most stubborn ones were still trying to fight, but their weapons could not even scratch his hull. Sir Dagin reported, enemy fleet is in full retreat. Should we pursue? Negative, Captain Chanho replied. We have made our point. He opened communications to the surviving alien ships. This is Captain Chanho, to all alien vessels. The engagement is over. Tend to your wounded, cover your survivors, and remember what you have seen here today. General. Binwu floated in the wreckage of his command bridge, his elaborate armor torn and bloody. Around him, the greatest fleet in galactic history was in ruins. 30,000 ships had been disabled or destroyed. 20,000 had fled in panic. One human ship had defeated them all in 18 minutes. Send a message to the council. He whispered to his surviving communications officer. Tell them we have lost. Tell them the humans are not like us. Tell them we need to find another way. The Ancient's Fury hung motionless in space, surrounded by the debris of galactic ambition. Its hull was unmarked. Its crew was unharmed. It had fought the greatest battle in galactic history and won without taking a single casualty. Captain Chen-ho looked out at the fleeing alien ships and felt no pride in victory, only sadness that it had come to this. Set course for Earth, he ordered quietly. Our work here is done. The battle that would be remembered as the Day of Human Thunder was over. The galaxy would never be the same again. 3 weeks after the battle that shook the galaxy, an emergency session of the Galactic Council convened once again. The Great Assembly Hall on Nexus Prime looked very different now. Many seats sat empty, their representatives still recovering from injuries suffered in the defeat. The mood was somber and fearful. Council leader Hei-Wan stood before the remaining delegates. Her ceremonial robes replaced by simple gray clothing. The time for pageantry had passed. Reality had come calling with the force of kinetic weapons. And the thunder of human engines? We are here to discuss terms, she announced quietly. The humans have agreed to negotiate. A murmur ran through the assembly. After their devastating victory, many had expected the humans to simply dictate surrender. Terms. The fact that they were willing to talk gave hope to the battered representatives. Admiral Kusong, his arms still in medical supports, limped to the center of the hall. Council members, I have been in communication with Earth's government. They have agreed to send a diplomatic mission. The same Captain Dahi who started this conflict, asked Representative Soyoung nervously. No, Admiral Kusung replied. Someone much more important. The human president herself is coming. The hall fell silent. Galactic history. Planetary leaders never left their worlds for negotiations. The fact that Earth's highest leader was coming personally showed either great respect or great confidence. Commander Taman stood up from his seat. Admiral, what do we know about their terms? Nothing yet, Kusung answered. But they have made one thing clear. They do not want conquest. They want partnership. General Bin Wu, bandages covering half his face, spoke from his medical chair. Partnership implies equality. After what happened at the battle, we are clearly not equals. Which is precisely why they are offering partnership instead of demanding surrender, Admiral Kusung pointed out. These humans are not what we expected. On Earth, President Mi-young prepared for the most important diplomatic mission in human history. She stood in the command center, reviewing reports about galactic civilization and culture. Admiral Jahuan briefed her on military matters while Captain Dehai provided intelligence about the various alien species. Madam President, Admiral Jahuan said, our intelligence suggests the galaxy operates on a strict hierarchy system. Each species has defined roles and responsibilities. President Mi-young nodded. And they expect us to fit into that system. Yes, ma'am. But after the battle, they are uncertain where to place us. Captain Dahi stepped forward. Madam President, I recommend we approach this carefully. These beings have lived in peace for 3,000 years. The concept of true warfare is alien to them. Which is why Captain Chan-ho's restraint was so important, President Mi-young observed. He could have destroyed their entire fleet, but he chose to disable instead. Admiral Jawan pulled up tactical displays of the battle. Madam President, our analysis shows that the Inchin's fury could have destroyed all 50,000 ships in approximately 6 hours. The aliens know this too. President Mi-young studied the displays. The battle had been completely one-sided. Human weapons and tactics had been so superior that it was less a fight than a demonstration. They must be terrified, she said quietly. Yes, ma'am. Which is why this negotiation is so critical. We need to show them that we are not monsters. The diplomatic vessel Harmony departed from Earth 3 days later. Unlike the military vessels of the human fleet, the Harmony was built for comfort and communication. Its hull was polished white. Its design spoke of peaceful intentions. President Mi-young traveled with a small diplomatic team. Admiral Dahi, now promoted for her role in First Contact, served as military advisor. Chief diplomat Sung Min handled protocol and translation. Cultural specialist Ba Young provided insights into alien psychology. When the Harmony arrived at Nexus Prime, it was met by an escort of alien ships. But these were not military vessels. The galaxy had sent their most elegant ceremonial ships, decorated with symbols of peace and welcome. Commander Taman led the escort in his rebuilt patrol ship. He had volunteered for this duty, wanting to be part of the solution rather than dwelling on the problems of the past. Human vessel harmony. This is Commander Taman of the Velthian Escort Fleet. Welcome to Nexus Prime. We are honored by your presence. Admiral Dahi responded personally. Commander Taman, we remember you from our first encounter. We are glad you survived. As are we, Admiral. Please follow our ships to the diplomatic landing platform. The landing ceremony was carefully planned to show respect without intimidation. President Mi-young emerged from her ship wearing simple, blue clothing that represented Earth's oceans and sky. She was accompanied by only 4 advisors, showing trust rather than fear. Council Leader Hei-wan met her at the platform, flanked by representatives from all major species. The greeting was formal but warm. President Mi-young of Earth, welcome to Nexus Prime. We are honored to meet the leader of your people, President. Mi-young bowed slightly, a gesture her cultural advisors had recommended. Council Leader Hei-wan, thank you for agreeing to these negotiations. We hope to build a better future for all our peoples. The negotiations took place in the Great Assembly Hall, but the atmosphere was completely different from the emergency sessions that had preceded it. Representatives sat in circles rather than formal ranks. The lighting was soft and welcoming rather than harsh and official. President Mi-young began by addressing the entire assembly. Members of the Galactic Council, we come before you not as conquerors, but as potential friends. Our species has made many mistakes in our history. We do not wish to repeat them here. Representative Janae of the Nexari spoke first. President Mi-young, your weapons are far beyond anything we possess. Why do you seek partnership when you could simply take what you want? President Mi-young smiled sadly. Because taking what we want would make us the monsters you fear we might be. Humanity has learned that victory through force is always temporary. Victory through cooperation lasts forever. Admiral Kusung leaned forward. But you must understand our position. Your single ship defeated our greatest fleet. We feel defenseless. You are not defenseless, Admiral Dahi interjected. You have something we lack. You have achieved true peace. You have built a civilization based on cooperation rather than competition. These are things humanity needs to learn, Chief Diplomat. Seung-min presented the formal terms. We propose a mutual defense treaty. Earth will provide military protection for the galaxy against external threats. In return, the galactic species will share their knowledge of peaceful cooperation and advanced sciences. The terms were surprisingly generous. Humanity asked for trading rights, scientific exchange, and recognition as a sovereign species. Return, they offered military protection and a promise to respect existing galactic law. There is one condition, President Mi-young added. We must have the right to establish military bases in strategic locations. Not to threaten you, but to protect all of us. General Bin Wu, speaking from his wheelchair, asked the question everyone was thinking. What guarantees do we have that you will not use this military power against us? President Mi-young stood up and walked to the center of the hall. General, I cannot give you guarantees. I can only give you my word and the word of my people. But consider this. If we wanted to conquer the galaxy, would we be here negotiating? Commander Taman spoke up. President Mi-young, what about our own military forces? What role would they play in this new arrangement? Your ships and crews would work alongside ours, Admiral Dahi answered. Not as subordinates, but as partners. You know this galaxy better than we do. We need your knowledge and experience. The negotiations continued for 3 days. Details were hammered out, concerns were addressed, and compromises were reached. In the end, the treaty was signed by representatives of all major species. The new galactic order was born not from conquest, but from mutual need and respect. The humans provided the military strength that the galaxy had forgotten it needed. The aliens provided the wisdom and knowledge that humanity had never possessed. Commander Taman was appointed as the first galactic liaison officer, working directly with Admiral Dahi to coordinate between human and alien forces, Cultural specialist Boyong established exchange programs that would bring young beings from across the galaxy to learn from each other. As President Myung prepared to return to Earth, she stood with Council Leader Hae-won on the observation deck of the Council building. Below them, human and alien ships worked together, preparing joint patrols of the Outer Rim. "Do you think this will work?" Hae-won asked. President Myung watched a human destroyer flying in formation with 3 Velthian cruisers. "I think we have a chance. Your people have shown us that peace is possible. We have shown you that peace sometimes requires strength to defend it, and if threats come from outside the galaxy..." President Myung smiled grimly. "Then they will learn what the galaxy learned. That behind our offer of friendship stands the quiet promise of the Ancient's fury and ships like her. The age of galactic peace had ended, but a new age had begun. An age where cooperation was protected by strength, where wisdom was backed by power, and where the universe would learn to respect the words that echoed through every human communication. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy was stronger for it. The stars themselves seemed to whisper the truth that would define the new era. When push came to shove, when evil threatened the innocent, when darkness rose against the light, the galaxy could count on one simple fact: humanity would be ready.